Power is a theater, and every move must be calculated in shadows. To reveal your hand too soon is to hand the stage to another, to allow the currents of ambition to carry you where you do not wish to go. The wise leader does not speak with honesty as a child might, but with strategy as a general might, arranging each word, each gesture, so that the audience sees what must be seen and no more. Intentions are weapons, their concealment, the sheath that keeps them lethal. To show your aim is to invite opposition before your strength has hardened. Those who parade virtue or announce ambition give the observant a map of their weaknesses. Loyalty is bought and trust is earned in secrecy, yet the public requires only the performance. Leaders who understand this navigate the treacherous waters of influence without drowning in the storms of expectation. They cloak their purpose behind the ordinary, the routine, the plausible, so that when they strike, it is not resisted, it is inevitable. The human mind craves patterns. It seeks to anticipate, to align itself with what it believes it sees. A leader who reveals her intent feeds this instinct, and in doing so, surrenders the unpredictability that is the source of authority. To conceal is not to deceive for cruelty's sake. It is to preserve the freedom to act, to shape events while others are still grasping at shadows. Every plan exposed too early is a trap sprung upon oneself. Observation is the silent currency of power. The clever leader watches reactions as carefully as he conceives actions. Words are measured, gestures are instruments, appearances are masks tailored to the occasion. To reveal the heart of one's strategy is to invite preemption. To remain inscrutable is to maintain the initiative, and initiative is the lifeblood of command. When the world guesses at your purpose, it bends itself around you. When it knows your purpose, it resists, often with greater force than you anticipated. Control is exercised through ambiguity. Certainty inspires confidence in some, but it emboldens opposition in many. The leader who veils intention holds both allies and adversaries in a state of balanced expectation. Trust becomes a conditional contract, not a naive surrender, and loyalty becomes an asset to be cultivated with care. Those who act in ignorance of your ultimate design are more pliable, more valuable, and more dangerous if left unguarded. Patience is the companion of concealment. A strategy revealed too soon dies before it breathes. Timing is as crucial as the plan itself. The hidden leader waits, letting opportunities crystallize, letting rivals exhaust themselves on assumptions and false leads. Each delay sharpens the moment of action. Every observation gathered in quiet becomes a strike delivered with precision. Yet concealment is not isolation. To hide one's purpose is to remain engaged, attentive, and deliberate. It demands clarity of mind, ruthless assessment of human nature, and a steady hand amid chaos. The leader who masks her intent knows the price of exposure, the erosion of control, the sudden collapse of advantage, the subtle, unstoppable undermining of influence. Power is a mirror held up to human instinct. Those who understand it manipulate not merely circumstances, but perception itself. To hide is not cowardice, but mastery. To conceal is not deceit, but survival. The world rewards the unseen architect of events far more than the herald of promises. In the silence of secrecy, the leader moves freely, bends the course of events, and shapes outcomes without resistance. In the end, visibility is vulnerability, and clarity of intent is a sword pointed at oneself. Smart leaders know that revelation is surrender. Their true strength lies in the spaces between words, in the careful orchestration of impressions, in the command exercised not by force alone, but by the control of what is known and what remains hidden. Mastery of concealment ensures mastery of consequence, and in consequence lies dominion. Every word spoken is a shadow, every silence a strategy. Those who hide their intentions are not merely cautious, they are architects of inevitability. To the world, they may seem ordinary, predictable, even innocuous. Yet beneath the mask, the machinery of control turns with relentless precision, and those who do not perceive it are carried forward, helpless, toward outcomes they neither designed nor desired. Power obeys those who wield it invisibly. Influence accrues to the leader who moves unseen, who conceals the architecture of his ambition until the moment of revelation. The act of hiding intention is the act of remaining unassailable. It is not charm or rhetoric that preserves authority. It is the quiet dominion over knowledge, perception, and expectation. In that dominion, the leader is free, and the world bends without resistance. Every alliance is tested in silence. Every negotiation dances on assumptions. Every rival is guided, misled, or deterred by what is not said. The leader who exposes plans too soon forfeits this subtle power, surrendering initiative to those eager to intercept or subvert. Strategy is most effective when its existence is suspected, but its form is unknown, when the currents of fear, hope, and anticipation flow under the command of a mind unseen. Those who seek to please, to reassure, to justify, often become prisoners of their own declarations. By contrast, the shrewd leader cultivates a landscape of uncertainty in which she operates freely, unbounded by expectation, untroubled by premature resistance. Intentions kept beneath the surface are like seeds in fertile soil. They germinate unseen until the harvest is inevitable, and by then, no opposition can undo what has been silently grown. The strongest rulers are those whose words reveal nothing of their final aims, whose gestures hint only at necessity, whose presence is a measured certainty in a world of unpredictability. They understand that transparency is a luxury, not a virtue, that trust is a tool, not a right, that control is maintained not by the consent of observers, but by the careful shaping of perception. To lead without revealing is to command the currents before the ship has even left harbor. To hide is to shape reality rather than react to it. To conceal is to wield inevitability as a weapon. Those who grasp this, who act with patient calculation and strategic restraint, remain unassailable, their power intact, their intent inviolable, and their control absolute. The world responds to what it believes it sees. Those who understand the mind of the world, yet conceal the mind of the self, hold dominion over both. In the mastery of secrecy lies the mastery of consequence. In the careful orchestration of what is revealed and what is withheld lies the architecture of control. The hidden hand is the hand that moves unchallenged, and in its silence, all is decided. Here, in the quiet calculus of concealment, the true leader exists not in the applause of the visible, but in the inexorable shaping of outcomes, the subtle command over expectation, the imperceptible bending of events to will. Knowledge is power, yet hidden knowledge is dominion. Intent kept secret is strategy perfected. And in this, the leader remains sovereign, unassailable, and unbound. The art is simple, yet profound. Reveal only what serves the moment, conceal all that preserves the initiative, and let the currents of perception flow in your favor. Master this, and the world will bend silently, not through force, but through the quiet inevitability of your design. The leader who hides intention rules not by brute strength, but by the calculated patience of obscurity, the unyielding logic of anticipation, and the ruthless clarity of mind that knows every advantage comes to those who wait while others guess. The stage is set, and the audience never sees the strings. What is concealed becomes the instrument of command. What is revealed becomes the bait of resistance. In every interaction, every observation, every decision, the invisible hand guides all without revealing its presence. To hide intention is to exist above the chaos of expectation, to bend consequence to will, to remain, at last, entirely in control. The world mistakes clarity for honesty, but the shrewd recognize the difference. Honesty is often the prelude to entrapment. Clarity of action without revelation is the essence of mastery. To conceal is not to lie, it is to endure, to calculate, to dominate. The hidden intent is the invisible fortress, the silent army, the inexorable momentum that ensures victory long before it is seen. Control is not given, it is claimed, silently, strategically, invisibly. The leader who hides her intentions commands the currents of human desire, fear, and expectation, shaping events not by coercion, but by the quiet inevitability that only the unseen can produce. In concealment, power is preserved. In revelation, it is surrendered. The wise understand this, and in the shadows, they thrive. The wise leader does not mistake silence for weakness. In the absence of revealed intent, every action carries weight, and every gesture is amplified by uncertainty. Allies and rivals alike move cautiously, interpreting the faintest signal, projecting fears and hopes onto a canvas you have left blank. This ambiguity is leverage, and leverage is the currency of dominion. To act openly without concealment is to hand others the power to respond, to anticipate, to counteract. Those who hide their purpose, however, act as though the world itself bends to their subtle insistence. Observation is the companion of concealment. One watches not merely for opportunity, but for the hidden motives of others, for the cracks in resolve, for the eagerness that precedes error. Each interaction becomes a test, each conversation a probe, each silence a revelation of character. In this careful gathering of knowledge, the leader learns what cannot be commanded and what must be manipulated, and in knowing, achieves the advantage that ensures survival and success. The public admires decisiveness, yet it is often deceived by appearances. A leader may strike with apparent spontaneity, yet every motion has been prefigured, every reaction anticipated. Those who conceal their intent cultivate the illusion of instinct while exercising the discipline of calculation. The crowd sees the display, not the design. They applaud results, not foresight. In this separation lies the mastery of influence, for perception governs action more surely than truth ever could. Timing is as critical as intent. To act prematurely is to waste advantage. To act late is to forfeit initiative. The concealed leader allows the world to speculate, to misjudge, to exhaust itself on false assumptions. Each delay is an accumulation of power, each observation a refinement of strategy. When the moment arrives, action is swift, decisive, and uncontested, not because of superior force alone, but because every current has been directed, every expectation managed, every rival misled. Trust is fragile, yet necessary. Allies must be engaged, but never empowered with full knowledge. Loyalty is not assumed. It is tested through controlled revelation. Those who believe they share understanding are more pliable, more committed, and more easily guided. Concealment is thus both shield and sword. It protects your purpose while bending the will of others toward outcomes they believe they choose. Control is exercised through the orchestration of perception. To reveal intentions is to invite resistance. To conceal them is to command without confrontation. In ambiguity lies freedom, for the unseen leader acts with a precision the world cannot anticipate. Influence accrues not through promises, but through the calculated restraint of disclosure. Each decision becomes a lever, each withheld word a fulcrum, each silence a subtle dominion over events and men. The danger of exposure is constant. A single slip, a premature disclosure, a misjudged confidence can unravel the architecture painstakingly constructed. The leader who hides intentions understands the cost, the erosion of initiative, the loss of leverage, the sudden empowerment of rivals. Vigilance is unceasing, strategy unbroken, patience exacting. Mastery of concealment is mastery of consequence, and in consequence resides authority. Yet concealment is not mere inaction. It is active, deliberate, relentless. It demands calculation, adaptability, and an unflinching view of human nature. The leader who hides intent is neither passive nor reactive. She is an architect of inevitability, shaping events and perception alike, ensuring that when action is taken, it is not opposed but accommodated, not resisted but surrendered to. Every interaction becomes theater, every word a measured tool, every silence a signal. Allies and enemies alike interpret, misinterpret, and act upon what they perceive, while the concealed leader navigates their assumptions, turning expectation into advantage. Invisibility is power, misdirection is control. To conceal is not to retreat, but to dominate with precision and foresight. The world moves in patterns shaped by desire, fear, and anticipation. The concealed leader manipulates these currents by remaining unreadable, inscrutable, and deliberate. By hiding intent, one ensures that every motion is unopposed, every strategy unfolds without interference, and every outcome aligns with design. In concealment, the leader achieves mastery over circumstance, perception, and human will, and through mastery, absolute control. The strength of concealment lies in its permanence. Those who act transparently are bound by the responses they invite. Those who act in hidden alignment with their purpose are bound by nothing but the reality they construct. To hide is to preserve freedom of action, to maintain initiative, to render opposition ineffective. Each concealed intention is a seed of influence, growing unseen until it bears fruit that no rival can prevent. In every alliance, every negotiation, every confrontation, concealment ensures that the leader remains the arbiter of outcome. The invisible hand guides without interference, the silent architect shapes without announcement, and the hidden mind anticipates without exposure. To hide intention is to act with inevitability, to wield influence without contest, and to exist above the currents of reaction that ensnare the transparent and the naive. Power obeys those who wield it silently. Influence belongs to the unseen, authority to the concealed. To reveal is to surrender, to conceal is to command. The world perceives only what is shown, and in the mastery of what remains hidden lies the essence of control. In patience, observation, and the disciplined art of concealment, the leader becomes unassailable, unpredicted, and utterly sovereign. The act of hiding is the act of freedom. Every withheld word, every masked intention, every calculated silence preserves the initiative, secures the advantage, and shapes the course of events. Those who master concealment hold dominion not through force alone, but through the subtle architecture of perception, expectation, and inevitability. In concealment lies mastery, and in mastery lies the unbroken command of men and circumstance. Every gesture, every decision, every withheld revelation is a strand in the web of control. The concealed leader weaves with care, anticipating the movements of allies and adversaries alike, guiding events toward the desired end without resistance. In invisibility, every action becomes decisive, every outcome preordained, and every opponent helpless. To conceal intention is to rule not merely by power, but by the silent orchestration of inevitability itself. The world mistakes openness for honesty, visibility for strength, and transparency for trust. The shrewd recognize that to expose purpose is to invite limitation, interference, and opposition. The concealed leader understands that true command comes not from what is seen, but from what remains imperceptible. In silence, in ambiguity, in careful misdirection, the architecture of control is built, preserved, and perfected until action becomes not only unstoppable, but unquestioned. The mastery of concealment is the mastery of consequence. To reveal is to be constrained, to hide is to be free. The unseen hand guides, the silent mind orchestrates, and the invisible will bends circumstance and human nature alike. Those who understand this act with deliberate patience, calculated precision, and relentless foresight, shaping the world not by force alone, but by the quiet inevitability of what is withheld, what is observed, and what remains unknown. Control is the reward of the concealed. Influence is the harvest of strategic silence. Power is the product of patience, perception, and the careful withholding of intention. Those who hide their designs hold both allies and adversaries in a delicate balance, guiding outcomes without exposure, securing advantage without conflict, and achieving dominance without resistance. In the art of concealment lies the essence of authority, the architecture of inevitability, and the unbroken command of men and events alike. The leader who conceals moves unseen, strikes with precision, and governs without announcement. The world reacts to the visible, misjudges the concealed, and is guided by the expectations crafted in silence. Each action, each omission, each measured word becomes a tool in the relentless shaping of reality. Concealment is not hesitation, it is calculation. It is not cowardice, it is foresight. It is not weakness, it is the architecture of control made manifest. Every plan kept hidden, every intention withheld, every observation internalized, strengthens command. The world perceives patterns, predicts motives, and acts upon assumptions, but the concealed leader acts beyond these assumptions, unbounded by expectation, untroubled by resistance, and unassailable in position. Mastery of concealment is mastery of perception. Mastery of perception is mastery of action. Mastery of action is dominion. The act of hiding is the act of inevitability. The careful leader knows that revelation precedes limitation, that disclosure invites interference, that exposure sows resistance. By concealing, by observing, by acting with calculated restraint, the leader ensures that every movement is decisive, every outcome uncontested, and every rival guided unwittingly toward the result the concealed mind has already determined. Control flows from the unseen. Authority accrues to the hidden architect of events. Influence belongs to the one whose purpose is unreadable, whose intention is obscured, whose timing is impeccable. To conceal is to act freely, to preserve initiative, to bend the currents of expectation and desire toward the ends one has silently decreed. In the art of hiding intention, power is preserved, dominance secured, and command made absolute. The world responds to what it perceives, not to what exists. Those who understand this, who mask their aims, shape perception, and manipulate expectation, hold the true advantage. Every alliance, every negotiation, every maneuver becomes a testament to the power of restraint, the strength of patience, and the quiet inevitability of the unseen will. In concealment lies freedom. In freedom lies command. In command lies the unassailable authority of the deliberate and hidden mind. The leader who hides does not act blindly, does not react to circumstance, does not surrender to the whims of others. She calculates, anticipates, and orchestrates. Her silence is deliberate, her observation unceasing, her timing exact. Through concealment, she preserves initiative, secures advantage, and ensures that every outcome aligns with design. Power is not revealed, it is exercised quietly, invisibly, and without contest. The mastery of concealment is the mastery of reality. What is unseen guides what is seen. What is hidden shapes what is revealed. What is withheld becomes the instrument of inevitable outcome. The leader who acts with measured obscurity, governs without opposition, commands without announcement, and rules without exposure. In the careful art of hiding intention, all is controlled, all is inevitable, all is one. Every action of the concealed leader is a calculated stroke upon the canvas of reality. The world, eager for patterns and explanations, projects meaning where none has been given, and in that projection, the leader finds leverage. Allies move according to the assumptions they hold. Adversaries expend energy, anticipating designs that do not yet exist. In this careful manipulation of perception, every unseen intention becomes a tool, every withheld word a pivot, every silence a weapon more effective than any overt act. The hidden strategist does not merely survive the currents of ambition, she commands them. By keeping purpose cloaked, she ensures that opposition is reactive, never preemptive, always chasing a shadow that does not align with reality. Every moment of concealment strengthens initiative. Every observation internalized sharpens decision. Every unspoken plan accumulates into a force that, when released, is swift, unassailable, and decisive. Patience is the companion of secrecy. A leader who reveals too soon invites interference. One who waits allows opportunity to mature, allowing rivals to exhaust themselves on assumptions and false leads. Each delay is a refinement of advantage, each measured pause, a consolidation of power. The world believes it moves freely, yet in every motion, the concealed mind has already anticipated the outcome. To act prematurely is to surrender. To act with timing perfected is to impose inevitability. Control is maintained not only through action, but through the orchestration of expectation. The invisible leader shapes what others see, guiding impressions so that perception aligns with design. Words are chosen for ambiguity, gestures measured for effect, appearances curated to mislead. Trust and loyalty are cultivated, not assumed. They are drawn from those who believe in understanding, yet are left to navigate without the full map. In this delicate balance, the leader remains sovereign, while all else bends unknowingly. The risk of exposure is constant, and vigilance unceasing. Every slip of language, every unintended revelation can unravel carefully woven influence. The concealed leader knows the price of disclosure: erosion of initiative, empowerment of rivals, collapse of advantage. The art lies in restraint, in observation, in the patient alignment of circumstances before the final act. Mastery of concealment is mastery of consequence, and through consequence, authority is preserved. Yet concealment is not passivity. It is deliberate, active, relentless. It demands clarity of mind, an unflinching view of human nature, and the discipline to act only when the world has been guided into position. Each withheld detail, each careful observation, each orchestrated misperception strengthens the architecture of control, ensuring that when action is taken, it is unopposed, precise, and unstoppable. In every alliance, every negotiation, every confrontation, concealment shapes reality. The unseen leader directs the currents of fear, hope, and desire without appearing to act. Allies are guided, rivals are misled. Outcomes unfold in silent alignment with design. To conceal is to dominate without force, to govern without announcement, to act without interference. The invisible hand of strategy bends events, shapes decisions, and secures inevitability. Perception governs action more surely than truth. The world believes in clarity, in transparency, in revelation, but these are illusions that the hidden leader exploits. By withholding intent, by masking purpose, by moving in silence, she preserves freedom, secures initiative, and ensures that every maneuver lands as if by fate. Each observation is a thread, each omission a lever, each calculated pause a fulcrum upon which control pivots. Those who act openly are bound by response. Those who conceal act with authority. The invisible architect moves freely through the currents of expectation, shaping outcomes while others struggle to interpret motives. Invisibility is power, ambiguity is leverage, patience is dominance. To hide is not to retreat, but to govern the flow of consequence, to command without contest, to exist unassailable at the center of all unfolding events. The mastery of concealment transforms the ordinary into the inevitable. Allies serve unknowingly, rivals expend themselves fruitlessly. Circumstance aligns with design. The leader who hides her intentions achieves what the visible cannot: freedom of action, preservation of advantage, and the unchallenged unfolding of strategy. In secrecy lies the control that visibility cannot afford. In patience lies the inevitability that impulsiveness destroys. In concealment lies the dominion over reality itself. Every word, every gesture, every omission is a tool. Every observation is ammunition, every unspoken plan a weapon. The world moves against shadows, and in that movement, the hidden leader guides, misdirects, and triumphs. To conceal is to act with precision beyond anticipation, to shape outcomes unseen, to remain sovereign while others struggle against the currents she has already directed. Power obeys the unseen, influence accrues to the hidden, authority belongs to the concealed. To reveal is to limit, to hide is to preserve freedom. To conceal intention is to act with inevitability, to bend circumstance and perception to will, to govern without challenge, and to secure outcomes before opposition is aware of their own place in the design. In concealment lies the architecture of command, the mastery of consequence, and the relentless control of events, unbroken, unassailable, and absolute. The world is guided by what it perceives, yet it is shaped by what it does not perceive. Every alliance, every negotiation, every conflict becomes a stage for the concealed mind, where outcomes are orchestrated through restraint, patience, and the disciplined concealment of intention. Those who master this act, not through force, not through rhetoric, but through the quiet inevitability of unseen calculation, remain sovereign over men, circumstance, and fate itself. The art of hiding is the art of freedom. Every withheld word, every masked aim, every carefully measured pause preserves initiative and consolidates advantage. Those who act openly surrender control. Those who conceal act with inevitability. In silence, in observation, in the orchestration of perception, the leader becomes unassailable. In concealment, power is preserved, authority is absolute, and command is total. Every plan kept hidden, every intention withheld, every observation internalized, strengthens dominion. The world guesses, miscalculates, and moves according to illusions crafted by the hidden leader. Every motion is anticipated, every reaction absorbed, every outcome guided. To conceal is to govern without opposition, to act without interference, to remain unbroken at the center of all unfolding consequence. The strongest leaders are those whose intentions remain unreadable, whose designs are obscured, whose timing is impeccable. They understand that transparency invites resistance, that disclosure sows opposition, and that exposure is vulnerability. To conceal is not hesitation, not deceit, not weakness. It is the exercise of power with precision, patience, and foresight. In concealment lies the unbroken command of reality, and in command lies the quiet mastery of all that is seen and unseen. Every action, every silence, every omission is deliberate. Every observation, every misdirection, every calculated restraint is designed to preserve freedom, secure advantage, and shape outcomes. The world reacts to what it perceives, unaware of the true currents beneath. The hidden leader moves beyond anticipation, beyond resistance, beyond expectation. To conceal intention is to act with inevitability, to govern without challenge, and to remain sovereign in the inexorable architecture of consequence. The hand that is unseen wields the greatest power. The mind that is hidden commands the currents of human desire, fear, and expectation. To reveal is to surrender. To conceal is to dominate. The world responds to what it believes, yet the leader who hides shapes what is believed, guiding perception and circumstance alike. In concealment lies mastery. In mastery lies inevitability, and in inevitability lies the unassailable authority of the calculated mind. Every gesture, every word, every silence becomes a lever of control. Every observation internalized, every assumption exploited, every pause measured, builds the architecture of unbroken command. Allies are guided, rivals misled, outcomes aligned. The concealed leader moves as though the currents themselves bend to her will, and in truth, they do. In concealment lies the freedom to act, the power to shape, and the dominion over consequence that visibility can never grant. To act with hidden intention is to govern without contest, to guide without exposure, to prevail without apparent effort. The architecture of control is built in silence, reinforced in patience, and executed with precision. Those who reveal too soon surrender advantage. Those who conceal maintain initiative. Power flows to the unseen, influence accrues to the hidden, and authority rests with the one who understands that to reveal is to limit, but to conceal is to command utterly. The world may admire visibility, trust transparency, and reward disclosure, yet true command belongs to those who operate in the shadows of perception. Every withheld plan, every masked aim, every unspoken strategy ensures freedom, preserves advantage, and shapes outcome. In the mastery of concealment lies the ultimate dominion, unchallenged, unanticipated, inevitable. Every encounter becomes an opportunity to shape belief without disclosing design. Conversations are probes, Gestures are feints, and decisions are instruments of influence rather than expressions of intent. A leader who reveals motives surrenders the initiative. A leader who conceals moves like a river beneath ice, unseen, relentless, capable of redirecting all that floats above. To remain inscrutable is to command the course of events before they even appear on the horizon of perception. Ambition itself must be cloaked. Those who flaunt desire invite obstruction. Those who reveal strategy invite rivalry. The prudent leader allows aspiration to be suspected, but never confirmed, letting others expend energy on conjecture, while the true course is pursued in silence. Suspicion is a tool. It draws attention where it may serve, distracting adversaries while the architect of action consolidates unseen advantage. Alliances are not founded on sentiment, but on calculated perception. To reveal the full measure of purpose is to expose vulnerability. Trust must be calibrated, sufficient to secure cooperation, insufficient to grant autonomy over your plans. Allies act according to the partial understanding you provide, believing themselves partners, yet they are instruments. By revealing only fragments, the leader maintains dominion over both action and outcome. Deception, when employed with precision, is not vice, but necessity. Human nature is predictable only in its self-interest, its greed, its fear of loss, and hope of gain. A leader who anticipates these tendencies, who disguises intent while observing reactions, transforms potential resistance into passive facilitation. To mislead is not to betray principles. It is to manipulate the currents of power so that they serve rather than oppose. The visible display of strength is often less effective than the hidden accumulation of advantage. Those who boast their plans invite opposition. Those who conceal them move unimpeded. Resources, alliances, and opportunities gather silently, like soil accumulating nutrients unseen until the moment of harvest. When action is finally taken, it is decisive not because the world underestimated the leader's power, but because the world was unaware that power existed at all. Anticipation is cultivated in the shadows. Every word, every hesitation, every measured act of silence is a lesson in observation, revealing the inclinations and weaknesses of others while keeping one's own mind free. The clever leader cultivates patience as a weapon, observation as a shield, and concealment as the unchallenged path to mastery. Initiative belongs to those who act unobserved. Influence belongs to those whose designs are unreadable. The management of perception is more formidable than the management of armies. Men and women respond to what they believe, not what is. The prudent leader therefore governs not only action but expectation. Appearance is as potent as reality. Concealment transforms uncertainty into authority. To be predictable is to surrender. To remain hidden is to wield control over the flow of events. Risk is ever present, and vigilance unceasing. A single exposure may unravel months of careful preparation. Yet the disciplined leader understands that true vulnerability lies in revelation, not in action. To conceal is to preserve initiative, to manipulate circumstance, and to remain invulnerable in the eyes of those who would oppose or outmaneuver. The balance between patience and decisiveness is the fulcrum upon which power tilts, and only those who perfect the art of concealment maintain it. In governance, as in war, surprise is a decisive weapon. To strike while others anticipate a feint is to convert preparation into domination. Those who act with open declaration allow rivals to marshal defenses. Those who move in secrecy convert perception itself into an instrument of victory. Silence, when deliberate, becomes a strategy. Inaction, when calculated, becomes force. The leader who masters these subtleties bends outcomes without the need for open confrontation. Manipulation is not cruelty but prudence. The instincts of men are predictable. Fear, desire, and hope may be anticipated and directed. To conceal is to allow these instincts to operate under the guidance of a mind unexposed. Influence is exercised by suggestion, by omission, by the careful calibration of information. Control is achieved not through coercion alone, but through the subtle shaping of what is known and what remains unseen. Every moment of concealment is an investment in inevitability. The world, deceived by appearances and partial understanding, moves according to the assumptions the hidden leader has cultivated. When the decisive act occurs, it is not resisted because it aligns with the currents already established in perception. Advantage is preserved, opposition minimized, and power exercised with the precision of a blade guided by sightless hands. The architecture of concealment is the architecture of dominion. Intentions carefully withheld allow freedom of action. Information carefully deployed secures compliance. Ambiguity, deliberately maintained, converts observation into leverage. Those who understand this principle navigate both the currents of human ambition and the tides of circumstance, remaining always unchallenged, always anticipating, always in command. To reveal is to invite limitation. To conceal is to retain freedom. In the shadows of secrecy, the leader moves as though the world itself is an extension of strategy, bending perception, guiding action, and ensuring that outcomes align with design before opposition even perceives the field of play. In concealment lies not cowardice, not deception for its own sake, but mastery, the unbroken exercise of authority over men, events, and the currents of fate themselves. Every engagement is a test, every interaction a probe, every silence a measure of influence. Allies act with partial understanding, opponents miscalculate, and circumstances are bent toward inevitability. The concealed leader acts without exposure, strikes without warning, and governs without apparent force. Mastery of intention hidden is mastery of the currents of human behavior, and mastery of the currents of human behavior is the essence of power. Timing, patience, and observation are the instruments of concealment. The leader who wields them skillfully moves unopposed through a world that believes it governs itself. Every hesitation is deliberate, every delay strategic, every appearance calculated. Through this, the leader converts uncertainty into leverage, suspicion into obedience, and ambiguity into dominion. The world is compelled not by coercion, but by the silent inevitability that the hidden mind imposes. Every plan withheld, every intention masked, every observation internalized strengthens authority. Perception is managed, expectation guided, and resistance rendered ineffective. Those who cannot see the design believe in freedom of choice, yet act in accordance with the architecture constructed in secrecy. In concealment lies the control of circumstance, the shaping of human will, and the unbroken exercise of power without apparent force. The leader who conceals moves with the inevitability of a river beneath ice, unseen, patient, relentless. Allies serve without knowing the full purpose. Rivals expend energy, misjudging intentions. Events are shaped before they even occur. To hide is not merely to protect, but to command, to convert perception into leverage, delay into advantage, and ambiguity into authority. Mastery of concealment is mastery of reality itself. In every alliance, negotiation, and confrontation, the hidden mind shapes outcomes. Words are measured, gestures calculated, silences deliberate. Human instincts, fear, desire, ambition are guided by the unseen hand. To reveal is to lose. To conceal is to gain freedom, initiative, and control. The art of hiding intention is therefore not a tactic, but the very foundation of sovereign authority. Every gesture, every word, every omission becomes a tool of domination. Observation, anticipation, and calculated restraint ensure that the leader's influence operates above the perception of those affected. The world reacts to appearances, yet the concealed mind governs reality. In silence, in patience, in the deliberate withholding of intent, power is preserved, control is absolute, and outcomes are inevitable. The leader who hides is not passive. She is an architect of inevitability. Each concealed plan, each withheld word, each careful observation contributes to the alignment of events. Allies and adversaries alike move according to illusions she cultivates. Circumstance itself bends under her guidance. To conceal intention is to govern unchallenged, to act with precision, and to remain sovereign at the center of all unfolding consequence. Every act of concealment is an exercise in freedom. Every withheld intention preserves initiative. Every carefully measured pause consolidates advantage. The world, deceived by partial understanding, moves in accordance with assumptions the hidden leader has shaped. In secrecy lies inevitability, in patience lies dominion, and in concealment lies the unbroken exercise of authority over men, events, and fate itself. The strongest leader is the one whose mind is unreadable, whose designs are obscured, and whose actions are guided by the inevitability of unseen calculation. To reveal is to surrender. To conceal is to command. In concealment, the currents of perception and expectation are harnessed. In concealment, influence becomes unassailable. In concealment, power is perfected. Every observation gathered in silence becomes a weapon of foresight. The hidden leader reads not only the words spoken, but the hesitations, the gestures, the glances that betray the inclinations of men. Each slight movement, each casual remark, is data to be interpreted, manipulated, and employed. In this constant vigilance, advantage accumulates unseen, and when the decisive moment arrives, the path is already cleared, resistance already neutralized. Every alliance is a delicate balance of partial truths and calculated omissions. To reveal full intent is to cede power. To reveal ambition is to provoke opposition. Allies may believe themselves confidants, yet the concealed leader ensures that understanding is always provisional, sufficient to secure cooperation, but insufficient to cede autonomy over her plans. In this carefully maintained ambiguity, loyalty is earned, not assumed, and influence is exercised without reliance on sentiment. The world responds predictably to perception, yet seldom to reality. The leader who conceals harnesses this truth, turning assumptions into instruments and expectations into leverage. Those who move openly invite obstruction. Those who cloak purpose navigate freely. Timing, patience, and strategic restraint are the tools by which the hidden leader transforms uncertainty into inevitability. Every delay is a refinement, every silence an alignment, every unspoken word a pivot of consequence. Deception is neither vice nor dishonor but necessity. Human nature is guided by hope, fear, and self-interest. Those who act predictably invite counteraction. Those who hide intentions exploit instinct, shaping behavior without overt coercion. Misleading a rival is not betrayal but prudence. Withholding purpose is not cowardice but mastery. Through these subtleties, advantage is preserved, initiative maintained, and outcomes preordained. Observation and patience are inseparable from concealment. Every hesitation is deliberate, every glance a probe, every gesture a measure of inclination. By internalizing the currents of desire and apprehension, the leader moves as though prescience were granted. Allies and adversaries alike act in accordance with the illusions cultivated, while the hidden architect directs circumstance toward inevitability. In this manner, action is precise, opposition is minimal, and influence absolute. Transparency is vulnerability. To reveal the heart of strategy is to invite resistance, to expose weakness, to limit freedom of action. To conceal is to preserve initiative, to guide perception, to command without confrontation. Authority is exercised not merely through force, but through the silent orchestration of knowledge and ignorance, of observation and omission. The unseen hand bends the currents of ambition, expectation, and fear to the ends already determined by the deliberate mind. Each withheld word, each masked intention, each measured act of restraint reinforces dominion. The world speculates, miscalculates, and moves according to assumptions the leader has cultivated. Every interaction is a stage, every silence a tool, every appearance a signal deliberately constructed. Allies are guided, rivals misled, circumstances aligned. In concealment lies freedom, in patience lies inevitability, In secrecy lies command unchallenged. Action, when taken, is therefore decisive not because it surprises by force alone, but because the conditions for its success have been silently arranged. The currents of perception, expectation, and ambition have been directed toward the desired outcome. The hidden leader strikes when opposition is unprepared, influence is at its zenith, and circumstance aligns perfectly with design. Timing is not accidental. It is calculated with the precision of a mind unexposed. The management of appearance is as critical as the orchestration of reality. Gestures, expressions, and words are instruments employed to cultivate ambiguity, maintain flexibility, and manipulate perception. To act openly is to surrender initiative. To remain inscrutable is to control the course of events before they manifest. Power resides in what is hidden, not in what is displayed. Influence accrues to the unseen, authority to the inscrutable. Risk is constant, yet the concealed leader mitigates it through observation, restraint, and anticipation. Each exposure carries potential loss. Each revelation invites opposition. The mastery of concealment is mastery of consequence. The mind that hides its intentions governs freely, anticipates every counter, and ensures that every movement of the world bends subtly toward its design. Authority is preserved through patience, initiative maintained through secrecy, and outcomes secured through calculation. Every engagement becomes a theater of control. Words are feints, silences are probes, actions are instruments. Human instincts, fear, desire, pride, are leveraged against themselves, guided by the unseen hand. The leader who conceals exercises influence without confrontation, guides circumstance without coercion, and achieves inevitability without apparent effort. To hide is to govern freely. To conceal is to command absolutely. To act unexposed is to triumph before opposition knows the game exists. Those who master concealment understand that visibility is vulnerability, disclosure is limitation, and transparency is surrender. The hidden leader acts beyond anticipation, directs without revelation, and secures outcomes before the world perceives the design. In patience, observation, and deliberate withholding, power is preserved. In silence and ambiguity, authority is absolute. In concealment, the currents of human behavior bend irrevocably to command. The architecture of control is constructed in secrecy. Each withheld intention, each masked aim, each carefully measured act of patience builds the framework for unassailable dominance. The world moves in accordance with what it perceives. The concealed mind moves in accordance with what it has determined. Allies serve without complete understanding. Rivals act in misapprehension. Circumstances unfold in alignment with design. In concealment lies the mastery of consequence, the shaping of human will, and the exercise of power that is at once invisible and irresistible. Every gesture, every pause, every unspoken word is deliberate. Observation transforms into leverage. Ambiguity transforms into authority. Restraint transforms into freedom of action. Those who reveal intentions sacrifice initiative. Those who conceal retain sovereignty. The leader who masters concealment commands the currents of expectation, fear, and ambition, directing them toward inevitable outcomes, shaping reality without opposition, and governing the world while appearing untouched by its turbulence. The unseen hand is the instrument of mastery. The hidden mind is the arbiter of consequence. To reveal is to surrender. To conceal is to dominate. Influence accrues not to those who display, but to those who obscure. Authority belongs not to those who announce, but to those who calculate, observe, and wait. In concealment, initiative is preserved, opposition neutralized, and the architecture of command rendered unbreakable. The currents of human desire, fear, and expectation are guided by the deliberate hand of the concealed leader. Every interaction, every negotiation, every silence is employed to shape perception and bend circumstance toward preordained outcomes. To conceal intention is to remain sovereign, to act with inevitability, and to achieve dominion over events before they even manifest. Mastery of concealment is therefore mastery of reality itself, and those who perfect it govern without contest, triumph without exposure, and command without opposition. The act of hiding intention is not mere strategy, it is the foundation of unassailable authority. Every withheld word, every masked plan, every patient observation preserves initiative, secures advantage, and ensures that outcomes unfold according to design. Allies and adversaries alike act in accordance with assumptions cultivated by the hidden mind, while the leader moves freely, unopposed, and unchallenged. In concealment lies freedom. In freedom lies control. In control lies the essence of power. The world operates on perception. The concealed leader operates on design. Each calculated omission, each deliberate pause, each measured gesture converts uncertainty into leverage, speculation into obedience, and ambiguity into dominance. The leader who conceals is both invisible and inevitable, guiding events, shaping outcomes, and exercising authority beyond the comprehension of those who see only what is shown. Every action, every silence, every withheld revelation contributes to the architecture of dominion. The currents of human expectation, fear, and ambition flow according to the designs crafted in secrecy. Allies believe they act voluntarily. Rivals miscalculate. Circumstance aligns with intent. To conceal intention is to exercise freedom unchallenged, to strike with precision, and to govern the course of events before resistance even perceives the design. Control resides not in force alone, but in the patient manipulation of perception. The hidden leader governs the world through observation, anticipation, and the careful withholding of intent. Each pause, each ambiguity, each calculated silence preserves initiative, secures advantage, and guides human behavior toward the outcomes preordained by the concealed mind. Mastery of concealment is mastery of power, and power exercised invisibly is absolute. The strongest leaders are those who remain unreadable, whose designs are obscured, whose timing is impeccable. They understand that revelation invites resistance, that disclosure invites interference, and that transparency is surrender. To conceal is to preserve freedom, to maintain initiative, and to act with inevitability. In the mastery of hidden intent lies the unbroken exercise of authority, the orchestration of consequence, and the unassailable dominion of the deliberate mind. Every plan withheld, every word unspoken, every observation internalized strengthens command. Allies are guided, rivals misled, and circumstances bend silently to design. The concealed leader operates above perception, beyond anticipation, and in the quiet inevitability of unseen calculation, all outcomes are secured. To conceal is not merely to act, it is to govern, to dominate, and to prevail without opposition. The art of concealment is the art of inevitability. Every measured pause, every masked intention, every deliberate omission converts uncertainty into leverage, speculation into compliance, and ambiguity into authority. The leader who hides intention moves freely, commands without exposure, and ensures that the world itself aligns with her design before opposition is even aware of the contest. In concealment lies freedom, in patience lies power, and in secrecy lies the unassailable command of men, events, and circumstance. The currents of human ambition, fear, and expectation flow according to the hidden mind. Allies believe in understanding. Rivals act in miscalculation. Outcomes unfold according to preordained design. To conceal intention is to exercise dominion beyond confrontation, to act with precision beyond anticipation, and to govern reality without apparent force. Mastery of concealment is mastery of inevitability, and those who perfect it wield power without contest, authority without exposure, and control without opposition. The unseen hand guides all, shaping perception, directing behavior, and securing outcomes before resistance arises. Silence, patience, observation, and restraint become instruments of governance. To reveal is to limit. To conceal is to preserve freedom and command. In concealment, influence is absolute, action is decisive, and power is perfected. The hidden leader exists at the center of inevitability, unbroken, unchallenged, and entirely sovereign. The world sees only what is shown. The concealed mind shapes what is not. Every gesture, every word, every omission strengthens authority, directs circumstance, and ensures that outcomes align with preordained design. Allies are instruments, rivals misled, and events unfold according to calculation. To conceal is to govern without contest, to act with inevitability, and to triumph while the world believes it moves freely. The mastery of concealment is the mastery of reality itself. Initiative is preserved, opposition neutralized, and influence exercised beyond perception. Each plan withheld, each intention masked, each observation internalized, reinforces dominion. In concealment, freedom is maintained, authority is absolute, and control becomes the silent architecture upon which all outcomes are built. The hidden leader stands unobserved, yet the world bends around her design. Every word withheld, every intention masked, every calculated pause has guided circumstance, expectation, and ambition toward inevitability. Allies serve unknowingly, rivals miscalculate, and events unfold in alignment with the architecture constructed in silence. To conceal is not weakness, nor deception for its own sake. It is the deliberate exercise of mastery over men, perception, and consequence. Power resides in what is unseen. Authority belongs to those whose intentions remain unreadable, whose timing is impeccable, and whose patience is absolute. To reveal is to surrender, to conceal is to command. In the careful orchestration of ambiguity, the leader preserves freedom, maintains initiative, and ensures that every action strikes with inevitability. The currents of human desire, fear, and expectation flow according to design, and the world, believing itself free, moves precisely where the hidden mind has guided it. Mastery of concealment is mastery of reality. Those who perfect it govern without opposition, act without exposure, and triumph without resistance. In silence, in patience, and in the deliberate hiding of intention, the leader becomes unassailable. The world sees only what is shown, but the unseen architect of events rules entirely, and in that invisibility lies absolute control.